Oh, time. We have spoken about time earlier in this book, but it deserves its own section, and it is such a valuable and vast topic to learn more about. We know that money is a great resource, but what we usually forget is that time is a great resource too. The greatest limitation is that we can never have control over time. Once a moment passes, we cannot go back and change it. Peter Drucker, in his book The Effective Executive, writes, "The supply of time is totally inelastic. No matter how high the demand, the supply will not go up. There is no price for it, and no marginal utility curve for it. Moreover, time is totally perishable and cannot be stored. Yesterday's time is gone forever and will never come back. Time is, therefore, always an exceedingly short supply." We often forget to value time because we are overwhelmed by the feeling that we have all the time in the world. Reality is in stark contrast with this feeling. We have limited time, and we can never gain more of it. We can have more money, gain more skills, make new friends, but we can never have more time. Using our time smartly is the key to living a happy life. Time management is crucial for work life, but it is also important for maintaining work-life balance. It is useful for accomplishing more things in less time. The stress that follows us near to the deadlines can be managed by following a well-planned schedule with a well-divided workload. It is essential to take out time for friends and family in order to maintain a holistic balance. Free time is also important for self-care and relaxing. A busy work routine without a break proves to be destructive for mental as well as physical well-being. Most of us are aware of the significance of time management, yet usually we look up to how others are managing it. Everyone needs to have a personalized approach to time management. We need to embrace the fact that everyone's schedule and timeline is different. While it might seem like a race at moments, it is always good to remember that it is not. We need to progress at our own pace while managing our time as per our needs. Time is a game that we need to play on our own. We need to be our own coaches. The main aim of time management is to keep ourselves on track. We should not let it become a stressor. While sticking to a schedule is necessary, it is alright to lag sometimes. It is all about making the right adjustments to get the things right without too much delay. The main goal is to find the right balance between the time that we spend on our daily activities. This requires us to set up essential goals and priorities that will guide us in our time management and routine. In the busy modern life, technology can be our greatest companion and manager. There are apps and other services available for keeping track of our time, but the final decision and analysis of how we want to spend our time depend on us. Let's choose wisely. Time audit. While it might sound like a technical and professional term, yet time audit can be an essential tool for our everyday life. We are already familiar with the word audit, which refers to examining data or records for future accuracy and success. Time audit can be explained as the analysis of how we spend our time. When we are working on an important project or a task, we often feel like we are in a race against time. Even when we start working at our earliest, the end of the day arrives too soon, and we have a lot of our daily tasks incomplete. A time audit gives us a chance to look at how we are spending our day to plan further so that we have a better picture of how our average day is going to look like. In short, it is a simple activity which involves tracking how and where we spend our time. It is our choice if we want to only keep track of our working hours, or we want to look into our whole routine. Time management is a tool that is helpful in all areas of our life. Hence, it is good if we keep track of our whole day. It will help us in having more productive days in future. Why time audit is important at work. When we have a general overview of our day, we would count our working hours as completely productive hours. The question is, are we completely productive during our working hours? No one can answer this for sure without an analysis of every hour they spent at work. Even at work, we have several distractions. We might either waste a huge chunk of our time while talking to our colleagues or simply by going through our emails. The Telegraph did a survey of how people spend their time in working spaces to see if a working day is productive in its entirety or not. The study revealed that British workers spend almost 5 days each year out of their working days while talking to their colleagues. In addition to this, 4 days are spent while making cups of tea or coffee, and 7 days are spent in making personal phone calls, personal emails, and shopping online. The results showed that almost 28 days are spent on average by employers while doing non-work activities at work. In light of these facts, it can be established that time audit is crucial for effective time management. Our ideal schedules or timelines cannot always be practical. When put to action, we might find out that we either underestimated ourselves or overestimated our skill set level for certain tasks. It is with the performance of the task that we begin to see a clear picture. At moments, we might get way ahead expectations, while sometimes we might remain behind the set schedule. The effective method is to run a time audit after a certain period, whether days, weeks, or months. It will give us practical data that we can put to use in further planning. How to run a time audit. A time audit can be done for any task, even if it is a personal hobby that you are trying to adopt, or a strict deadline that you have to meet. It helps us have control over workflow so that we can make adjustments to maximize productivity. Here are the few steps that can be followed to run a time audit. 1. What is the ideal schedule? Whenever we are keeping track of something, the first step is to record the expected results and goals. Before initiating time audit, we need to have a schedule that we aim to follow, and the results we expect to gain by the end of a certain time period. Days, weeks, or months. We can make a 24-hour schedule or can only stick to our working hours. The first question is, how do we want to spend our time? The answer is the activities that we have to do, how much time we expect to spend on each of them. Setting up daily/weekly goals help engaging the progress after the trial period, which can be a few days or a week. It depends on how much time we need to adjust to the new routine. 2. Log in the activities. The second step is to keep track. During our trial period, after which we would apply the necessary changes to our ideal schedule, we need to log how we spend our time. For instance, if we plan on reading 100 pages of a book over a period of a week, keeping track of the number of pages read every day will help. It will give us an idea of how much time we can take out for reading every day. Along with that, we must log how we spend the rest of our time. It shows how much time we can add up to our reading time. By the end of the week, we will be better familiar with our routine and reading habits that can help us in making the necessary changes in our schedule and goals. Similarly, logging in the activities during the first sprint of any project makes time management easier. The goals can be set more realistically, which reduces the pressure and stress caused by uncertainty. A record of how we spend our time gives us a blueprint to work on for making necessary changes to increase productivity. 3. The non-negotiables. People would often compromise on their sleep schedules to work. It is not a healthy and recommended thing to do. It has short-term as well as long-term goals. Staying awake for longer periods is destructive for our productivity, as our brain needs to recharge after a certain time, 16 hours. Activities like sleeping, eating, rest, and hygiene are the non-negotiables of our daily lives. These are the activities that we can never eliminate from our schedules, no matter how much the workload. If we get too immersed in work and ignore these essentials for a while, it shows drastic effects. A realistic schedule sets these tasks up as important and always has time allotted for them. We can color code the non-essentials to always remind ourselves of their personal importance in a schedule full of work tasks. 4. Identify the free time. It is normal to get distracted while hustling. Everyone ends up deviating from their schedules at times, but our aim is to minimize this distraction. We have to manage our time not to strictly restrict ourselves, but to free ourselves from procrastination. Once we start logging in our routine, we begin to see opportunities for enhancing productivity. The time that is spent while lying on the couch thinking about what to do next can be used to do what is next. The activities can be spread over the free time or the time that is spent on unessential activities. For instance, if we have a project deadline to meet, then we can take out the time that we spend watching TV, as it is a negotiable task. Color coding the negotiables can help us in identifying the free time easily. When needed, the schedule that we will have after the test period will be based on the results of practical data. It will no more be a hypothetical schedule that overestimated our attention span and allotted straight 3 hours for reading. We can run a test period of a few days for the final schedule and can keep on tweaking it over time to ensure productivity. In this way, time audit improves productivity through effective time management. 2. Roadie, return on time invested. If we want others to value our time, we should start by valuing our time. An analysis of how we are spending time and how beneficial it is can help us in utilizing our time effectively. We are well familiar with the term return on investments. In this case, we look at the benefits of investing money in some project or business. Similarly, considering time as a resource, Roadie helps us in analyzing the benefits that we reap by spending time on certain tasks. These benefits can either be monetary or can be in terms of our progress towards a goal. Logan Stout, the CEO of ID Life, in a podcast explained Roadie as, "What powers people through adversity is the thought of the value they're receiving in exchange for the time they're putting in. And I don't just mean money," said Stout. "The best feeling is when you look at your work and see that you're not just playing the game, you're changing the game in your industry." Making a change is all about making the right decisions and the right time choices. In lifetime is money, and what can change the course of our life is our decision about how we are going to use the time. Roadie is a method that can be used for our personal life and work life. For instance, if in a meeting, we can ask for general feedback on the meeting at the end. It will help engaging the time that is spent on meetings and how can it be more effective. Investing time on two small opportunities. To have the maximum return on our time, we should start considering it as valuable as money. We need to choose the opportunities wisely so that our time is not wasted. We would not prefer investing a big chunk of money on something that would not offer us a return that big. Similarly, there are opportunities that sway us from our real goal. These opportunities might offer us good short-term benefits, but they do not help us in furthering our long-term goals. Hence, the smart and wise thing to do is to not choose the small opportunities to save time for investing in long-term goals. Low return on time invested. Analysis of our everyday activities is essential to optimize the benefits. Some of our everyday activities produce a very low return for a high investment of our time. These activities might give us a temporary sense of accomplishment because they seem to be work. For example, a large chunk of time that is spent while scrolling through our email inbox produces no return. Checking our email first thing in the morning can be enough if we are not awaiting an important message or response. It has become the habit of many to check our phones 20 times in an hour and go through the email inbox time and again. These activities might seem trivial, but a large chunk of our time and attention is consumed by these activities. Along with that, there can be other activities that might be just wasting our time. Sometimes people play online games for a little rest and relaxation. It is true that rest is important, but it is also essential to keep track of the time spent on these activities. An activity that started off to refresh might soon turn into an activity that minimizes our productivity and thus lowers the return on time invested. To identify and eliminate such activities from our routine, we need to ask, what return on time investment this activity is going to produce? If the answer is no, then we should exclude the activity from our schedule/routine to invest the time somewhere useful. High return on time invested. The activities which produce high return on time are going to vary for everyone. It depends on our end goal and what we are aiming for. It is essential to prioritize tasks. While creating our schedules, we should make sure that there is a maximum number of activities which produce high returns on low investments of time, or high return for big investments of time. Our aim is to make every second of our time count. How to conduct a Roadie for meetings. Meetings require a number of people to take time out of their busy schedules. While everyone on a team has different tasks, deadlines, and routines, a meeting is all about getting all the team members on board. While team meetings are essential, they are also a time commitment that we ask from people. Hence, every team member wants a high return on the time invested in these discussions. Conducting a Roadie at the end of meetings helps in understanding how important and beneficial the meeting was. Based on every member's feedback, it can be done with a very easy and quick method. Allot 5-10 minutes at the end of every meeting to evaluate the significance of the meeting. Ask every attendee to rate the meeting on a scale of 1-5. The scale can be specified as follows. 1. The meeting was not important at all. No value was added. I could have been somewhere else. 2. It was a bit useful but not that necessary. I lost time. 3. It was useful enough to justify the time spent on it. 4. I gained more than the time I had to spend on the meeting. The value was added. 5. It was very useful and necessary. It was worth more than the time invested. The results can be determined on the basis of the vote of the majority. How to conduct higher Roadie meetings. Planning the meeting beforehand is the key to conducting a meeting with high benefits. The people in the meeting should feel like their time investment will result in positive future changes and accomplishments. Esther Derby, who is a well-known consultant, suggests to keep the following few things should be kept in mind while planning the meetings to have a high Roadie. Define the purpose of the meeting. Meeting without a specific goal is usually a waste of time. We should only bring people together when we are clear about the purpose of the meeting. It is true that a team have a large web of issues that need to be solved and discussed. They have a number of goals they need to achieve. Still, a single meeting should have a single defined purpose. If there are other reasons to have a meeting, it is important to allot of time slots for every one of the issue. All the reasons and goals should be predefined. Have a plan. An agenda helps everyone get on board with the goals and purpose. If it is handed to people at the beginning of the meeting, they get an idea of what they should hope to achieve by the end of the meeting. An agenda should not be crowded with topics. It should be kept short and to the point so that the meeting can be conducted smoothly. Invite the right people. Inviting the people who have nothing to do with the agenda and purpose of the meeting is an unfair deed. While calling in people, their connection with the issues to be discussed should be established. A meeting might have a well-defined purpose, but it can have zero return for people who have nothing to do with the problem being discussed. Decide if a meeting is important. When we have to solve a problem, a group discussion helps. It introduces us to new sides of the picture, and different people can give their perspectives, which can bring a new dimension. Problem solving can become a lot easier with a team as everyone can share their own experiences and insights. On the other hand, if the purpose of a meeting is only to share some details or information, then email can be a good mode of communication. It will serve the purpose without the hassle of gathering people. We should conduct a meeting that makes the best use of the participants' time, so it is always a good idea to go over the meeting's agenda and ask if it is really that important. Time assessment time. A time assessment that really has high returns is the time assessment time, a part of the day where we go over our pre-planned schedule and how we actually spent the day can really help us in making great changes in our daily routine and lifestyle. The 10-15 minutes of time assessment can save us from many hours of a hassle, as it gives us the opportunity to think and plan carefully. How frequently we assess our time is entirely up to us, but here are a few suggested ways. 5 minutes each day to make sure that we have invested in the right things. If we are investing time in our to-do list or not. 15 minutes at the end of every week to see what changes we would want to make. We can use this time to see which activities or tasks produce the lowest returns. An hour after each month to go through the tasks accomplished during the span. Keeping a journal is essential to be able to have an overview of an entire month. We can plan for the future, as we might want to invest our time differently in the coming month. A day at the end of the year to assess what we have been doing throughout the year and what made us happy and what should be changed. It is a good time to set new goals and resolutions for the coming year. Eliminate and GT. Automate and GT. Delegate. Never automate something that can be eliminated, and never delegate something that can be automated or streamlined. Otherwise, you waste someone else's time instead of your own, which then wastes your hard-earned cash. How's that for an incentive to be effective and efficient? Timothy Ferriss. It is a process that maximizes productivity and reduces time wastage. It is a system which not only makes the processes smoother but also easier. It involves going through the processes and then choosing which tasks should be eliminated, which can be simplified and automated, and how the tasks should be delegated. The emphasis of this chapter is to identify the absolute essentials in our life rather than taking the load of everything. It is always a good idea to prioritize because we have limited time and abilities. This system helps in having a better idea of what to prioritize and how to make the task easier for ourselves. Sometimes, our to-do list becomes a mess. Even a sight of it becomes a stressor. We can always lighten the load by either eliminating or automating or delegating a few tasks to others. The remaining items on the list would be our essentials that can neither be eliminated nor automated or delegated. They will be our responsibilities, but with lesser things on our to-do list. Accomplishing them would be easier. Here are the steps that we can adopt to choose the easier way. Create a master list. The first step is to create a master list of every task that you think you have to do. It is not necessary that only regular tasks should be noted down. The goal is to write our ultimate to-do list, which will have everything that we feel responsible for and everything that we do. It can even have activities which we might do only after a few weeks. This exercise is to figure out all the activities that our brain keeps on thinking about. At the end of it, we will have a master list. Eliminate. This is an important step which requires us to think carefully. It involves going through the master list and eliminating the unnecessary, the non-essentials. Not all the tasks on the master list are important, and there are a lot of them which create unnecessary clutter in our mind. These tasks keep on distracting us, and we keep on feeling burdened. Elimination is the process which gives us a chance to analyze the importance of each task on our list. If there is a task that adds no value, then eliminate it right away. We can ask the given questions to determine the significance of each activity. Oh, does this task need to be done? Oh, does this task add any value by contributing to my goals? If the answer to the above questions is no, then the task must be removed from the list. If the answer is yes, then we should move to the next step. There can be activities that we are doing because we have always done them, but they are not needed. There are tasks that we do out of guilt or only because we are afraid to say no. All such tasks need to be eliminated from the list as they add to the unwanted pressure. Identify the tasks that can be automated. Once our list is clear of all the tasks that we do not have to do, we are left with our real to-do list that will have all the tasks which are our responsibility, and we have to find ways to accomplish them. It is time to identify the tasks which can be automated. It is like delegating our tasks to the computer. Today, we have applications and software for almost everything. These apps can actually make our life easier by managing our workflow and automating some of the small tasks. We need to look for the tasks that we can get done by computers so that our time and effort can be saved. For instance, mobile banking can help us in automating the process of paying the bills and subscription fee for services. Other examples include Expensify. It is an app that saves receipts to save time when we have to do our expenses. Email automation. Automating responses and replies is helpful when we have a busy work routine. Email marketing becomes easier with the tools for email automation such as ConvertKit, MailChimp, etc. E-commerce. It can be helpful in online shopping and thus saving the effort of traveling across the city for buying utilities. Also, if someone has an online store, they can automate the process of sending out promotions and surveys rather than following up with everyone on their own. Tasks. Project management tools like Asana can make the delegation and tracking of the tasks easier. It can make communication easier and faster without taking out time for one-on-one meetings or follow-up emails and messages. Delegate the tasks. Once we have eliminated the unnecessary tasks and automated the tasks that could be handled by computers, the next step is to choose the tasks that can be handed over to someone else. It is a hard step because not everyone is comfortable with getting their work done by someone else. Sometimes, our perfectionism plays a role in this discomfort. The point is to make our to-do list less stressful for ourselves. It requires us to put a little trust in someone else so that we can give our 100% to the things that require our time and effort the most. While delegating our tasks, our biggest concern is if the other person will feel as interested in the work as us. We can eliminate this concern by picking up the right person through a good screening process. Identify the right person to help. We will have to spend a little more time and effort in the beginning to find the person with the right skills and attitude. It is not important that they should be fully acquainted with the task from the beginning. We will be needing people who are willing to learn and are quick to pick things up. We can help them in picking the pace, which will require effort in the beginning. The initial effort can result in long-term returns if we choose the right person. Hence, we need to remain patient during the process. What's left on the list? After going through the process of eliminating, automating, and delegating, we will be left with fewer tasks on our list. These are the tasks which fall under the category of extremely essentials that need a major chunk of our time and effort. Once we have these few tasks on our to-do list, our load will become light, and we will be able to give our undivided attention to the most important projects or activities. The process can be very helpful in minimizing the load and stress in our life. If we are willing to put effort into putting this system to work, it can produce great results by enhancing productivity. This system can free up a lot of time from our daily routine, thus giving us an opportunity to invest it in our most essential goals. Use of calendars. What is a better time tracking tool than a calendar? We often only use the calendar to know what date it is today or when our favorite festival or holiday arrives. We usually forget that calendars can serve as a great time management tool. We can use it to be more productive by keeping track of our activities. It can help us in setting up future goals, while alongside creating and managing our daily routine. Why should we use a calendar? With the advancement in technology, calendars have changed. Now there are various forms of calendars and various ways to use them. The orthodox paper calendar can still be a great accessible tool, but these new variations have made calendars more important and beneficial. Given are the few basic reasons why we should use calendars. Planning. For any task or project, having a plan is important. There are always changes and improvisations made while performing the task, but an initial plan gives it the right direction. Either it is planning for a business trip or for a family event, a calendar is the first tool that comes handy. It can give us a quick overview of how much time and days we have and how we can manage them. We can set up deadlines for ourselves, and marking them on a calendar gives us a visualization of the time we have to accomplish the tasks. It enables accountability at our own end. Prioritize. Putting our plan for the day or week gives us a picture of what is awaiting ahead. Once we have all the tasks listed and marked with their deadlines, we can prioritize. In this way, we can schedule the least important tasks for a later time and focus on more important tasks. Track due dates. When our schedule is all full of uncompleted tasks, there are chances that we miss out on a few deadlines. Calendars minimize the chances by helping us in staying on track. We can always check the marked deadlines to know when a task is due. Get things in order. Using calendars brings order and discipline to our lives. Once we start recording due dates, assignments, special events, and task reminders, we learn to manage our time effectively. It reduces anxiety and stress that a cluttering of everything in our mind can bring. Check availability quickly. Have you ever ended up scheduling a meeting and later realizing that you had another task due at the same time? It can happen often when we are not keeping record and relying too much on the power of our memory. With calendars, we can tell when we are free with a quick look. Once we have everything planned and recorded, we can identify our free slots easily. Checking our availability can save us from the struggle of having follow-up calls or emails for scheduling meetings or deadlines. Online calendars. Online calendars can be more effective because of the various new features that come with them. Along with that, they are easily accessible as we carry our phones everywhere. Here are the few reasons why online calendars can be the best fit for us. Easily accessible. Online calendars can be accessed easily from multiple devices. Even if we recorded an event from our phone, we can later access the record from our laptop. It makes the use more convenient, and it also makes the incorporation of calendars easier in our everyday life. Scheduling and coordination. Meeting and appointments can be scheduled with ease. Online calendars enable one person to schedule the meeting on another person's calendar through online invitation. Coordination becomes easier, and the meeting can be scheduled on the go on a mobile phone. Set up reminders. One of the biggest advantages of online calendars is that we can set up reminders for events and deadlines. Usually, we would have to look at the calendar again and again to keep up with the deadlines, but such a calendar would notify us about any approaching deadline or event beforehand. It will also remind us of the meetings so that we are never late for anything. So the risk of missing deadlines or forgetting about important events can be eliminated with online calendars. Block time during our day. To increase productivity, we can use time blocks in online calendars. It will give us an opportunity to give undivided attention to important tasks during the day. Share calendars with teammates. When working in a team, we need everyone to stay on board with the goals and due dates. A shared calendar can keep everyone updated about the progress. The team members can schedule meetings when needed, and they can keep on recording the accomplished tasks along with the go. In a way, an online calendar becomes an important project management tool. Create recurring events. Are there appointments or meetings that need to happen after a regular interval? Online calendars make their scheduling easy by the option of setting up recurring events. In this way, the event will be scheduled on the calendar after the interval on its own. It solves the problem of having to schedule the event and notify the related people again and again. The best free online calendars available. There are multiple online calendars available online to cater to our various needs. There are apps specifically designed for different types of jobs and activities. Here are the 7 best online calendars that you can choose from, based on what you need. Google Calendar. Most of us are familiar with Google Calendar as it is integrated with Gmail, Google Contacts, and all other Google apps. It is a highly effective tool for time management as it comes with an extensive feature list and is user-friendly. With Google Calendar, you can easily share calendars, schedule meetings, and color-code events. My Study Life. This app is highly recommended for students and teachers. Calendars have crucial importance in the education sector because of the never-ending timetables, exam schedules, deadlines, submissions, etc. This app is an ideal tool for keeping track of all these academic activities as it is specifically designed for educational purposes. Cozy Family Organizer. This app is specifically designed for organizing and managing family events. A wonderful tool that helps in keeping track of activities and events other than work. Comes with separate sections for health appointments, meals, birthdays, etc. It also includes a family journal and the feature to send messages to all the family members. Time Tree. It is essentially for calendar collaboration as it allows scheduling meetings and sharing events with people even if they are not users of the app. It has different types of calendars for all areas of life. For instance, there are relationship calendars that are shared between two people. The work calendars can be shared between the employees and employers. Outlook Calendar. Outlook Calendar is similar to Google Calendar. One of the main features is a shared family calendar which is shared with the user's Microsoft Family group. As it is integrated with our Outlook email, so events can be marked on the calendar as soon as received on the email. Jort. It enables the users to use the online calendar more like a journal or a diary, as it has the option of including pictures. It also allows following through other people's calendars. If they will want to share, their calendar will directly appear in our calendar. Any.do. It is a free web calendar which is integrated with their note and task management app. One of the main features of this app is that it gives location-based reminders and daily task alerts. It is compatible with the widest number of platforms like Google, iCloud, and Outlook. Conclusion. Calendars are an essential tool for time management and project management. If we want self-discipline to take over our lives, then calendars are a good first step to take. While they're important to remind us of work, they also remind us of when to take a break. By giving a visual plan, they give us an idea of how much stress we should take, and that we should every now and then take out time to rest and relax. This is the end of the part 1 of the full course. Check the details on the next lecture to access full course covering all 5 pillars of a happy life. If you like this course, please remember to give it a good review and share with your friends and family who could benefit from it. I hope to see you in the full course and help you continue your journey to life management mastery with 4 full sections with hours of valuable tips and tricks. Happy living!